Restaurants, they come and they go because of narrow profit margins and challenging operational costs. But one local restaurant has remained for years, although not unscathed.
Yeah, its owners have to shutter several of the locations to survive. Consumer reporter Cassie Arsenault looks at how the owners of what was once one of the largest and most recognizable restaurant groups in the tri-state have had to since pivot into a brutal time for the restaurant industry.
It's not a batter, it's a dough.
A labor of love.
Each waffle is unique and has its own shape.
Each detail carefully crafted.
3 minutes is the magic time if the dough is at the right temperature and the iron is properly set.
Bringing, quite literally, a taste of Belgium.
Everything is made in-house.
Right to the streets of Cincinnati.
In Belgium, every beer has its own glass.
The waffle's a hit since 2007. Its humble beginnings in the back of Madison's Produce.
After about 3 weeks, Brian Madison told me, we have a problem. I'm like, what's the problem? And he said, well, I'm in the business of selling produce and my store is congested with people eating waffles. So that's when I kind of realized that it's probably a good idea.
The founder and owner, Jean-Francois Flachet, remembers lines out the door, a fast growth, and even a visit from Guy Fieri on diners, drive-ins, and dives.
At your height, how many locations did you have?
So at some point, I think we had a total of 10 that were open. We grew very quickly.
But times have drastically changed. They're down to 3 locations and a stand in Findlay Market, while also looking at a serious round of legal troubles, alleging unpaid rent and unpaid loans to the tune of more than $1.4 million.
So what's the reality of that? Can your restaurant survive?
We will survive. All that means is that right now that there is a lawsuit, so there is a bank who decided that we have a disagreement because there is a contract, and unfortunately, we broke the contract. That's the reality of it.
So where did the tides change for this beloved brunch spot? Flachet says they expanded before the pandemic and invested thousands in a central kitchen with industrial equipment, which made all the food for all their locations. But the pandemic brought the volume they were pumping out to a halt.
You need volume. So once you lose dining room seating in a restaurant, then you lose the bulk of your volume. So the challenge was, where do we find the sales?
Then, like most restaurants, they said they were competing with the unemployment office, trying to get people to come back to work.
People would tell us like, well, your host was not exactly friendly or very hospitable, and I'm like, well, the hiring test was essentially this. If you have a pulse, you're hired, because there was nobody else who was applying.
And it doesn't help that people's habits have changed. A National Restaurant Association report reveals 75% of restaurant traffic now comes from takeout orders. Using services like Uber Eats that adds a commission to each order that can be as high as 30% for Uber drivers.
Believe it or not, people eat with their eyes, and we're on our mobile phones more often than we eat, and so often that drives the selection. So telling a great story about your food online can make the difference between a full or empty dining room.
Michael Sean McCabe of McCabe Media helps restaurants stay relevant. He says a restaurant has another expense and responsibility these days, their social media presence, which he says is paramount to the experience they provide their customers.
I always tell my restaurants that, and they don't like to hear this, with the cost of everything increasing, you want to start out at a minimum of $1,000 a month to amplify your message across social media channels. And that's a tough pill to swallow.
On top of all this, Flachet is being hit with tariffs on sugar he gets from Belgium for the waffles. His loan payments have increased with high interest rates, and he takes pride in offering his full-time employees benefits like 401ks and health insurance. He said he made an impossible decision.
When the loan double, at some point, it's unfortunately you put in a position where, do I pay my team and the food supplier, or do I pay the loan?
Regardless, the banks will need their money, and what kind of negotiation Flachet is hoping for is uncertain. Despite all this, he remains firm when he tells me his remaining locations, which pay ode to his home country, are staying put.
If we don't die, we can rebuild it.
Cassie Arsenault, Local 12 News.
Local 12 has more consumer stories just like this. Don't forget to click the links and press subscribe.